My name's Hilary Fox, and I'm from AP.
Hey, Hillary.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, good. Great to meet you.
I don't think I've seen you without a beard before.
I know it's a big shift.
Is this a lockdown decision?
Yeah, I was just like curious what would happen, and then realized, yeah, I kind of look very similar to when I was 21. So yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. How have you been doing? How have you been?
I've been good. We did a lot of our editing to finish the show during the pandemic, and so that was definitely one of the most a unique type of stress in the creative process that I think a lot of us hadn't been through. But all things considered, very thankful for that. And then, yeah, and then now just as good as anyone can be. Obviously, just really trying to be as helpful and hopefully thoughtful as possible with everything that's going on.
I wanted to ask you about because obviously you do stand up, don't you? And then at the moment, lots of people in a small place, not a particularly good idea. Do you know when you'll be getting back, or would you want to do outdoor gigs or any of those kinds of innovations? The driving gig.
Yeah, yeah, I've been looking at that and trying to understand ways to figure out the parking lot situation, the drive-in situation. That's definitely exciting, and there's people doing it. Um, but also, for me personally, it's a very reflective time, and so there's definitely something about just trying to take a beat. I've been working pretty nonstop for a few years, and so really trying to take some time to listen and kind of see what the right next moves should be.
I will get on to season two in a minute. I just wanted to ask about season three in a weird way. Um, do you think that you'll have to address the pandemic in season three, or do you think you'll want to keep it in a universe away from that?
I think there'll probably be a way to do it that feels like we're acknowledging it, but not revolving around it, which I think is what we're all trying to do in our lives too. So, uh, so I think that'll probably be the balance, making sure that it informs what's happening in a way that doesn't feel too topical, but feels like it helps our story.
Yeah, because I know everything's changed basically, and I know a lot of people who are working on, say, their season two or season three at the moment have just thrown everything out the window and gone, well,
Right, right,
yeah, this all needs to be changed. Um,
right, right.
talking about season two, how much of Ramy's adventures in season two is related to you?
I think that the second season certainly steps into fiction much more than anything we had made. I think that we really we're looking at so much of what's important to me about the show and what's important to this character in the show is this gap between who he wants to be and who he actually is. And we're really excited about looking at faith in a way that is grounded and contemporary and feels organic to what people of faith go through, and so certainly someone of his age who's of faith goes through. Um, and so we really wanted to dig into story that would help us highlight that in as much of a tangible way. So we really, yeah, we ramped up his problems, and we really ramped up this relationship that he has with his sheikh. And it was really exciting for us to do, but certainly a departure from my exact real life.
Do you think people will confuse the two?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Uh, people do a lot of things, and so it's never never. It's interesting because you make something for an audience, but it's never really in your interest to make something thinking about the audience too much. And so, yeah, people will, of course.
And Mahershala Ali is obviously incredible as ever. What was it like working with him?
It was just a dream scenario. I think on every level, not just the gravitas that he brings to the show in a public facing way, but just the experience of having him on set, those small moments between crew and cast and in the makeup I mean, the guy is just every room he walks into, it feels more connected, and he brings that energy of just really caring and really elevating everyone around him, and so he's a great leader to have in the situation that we do making the show.
And he said pretty much the same about you, in the fact that you were sorting out his lunch, making sure his mattress was comfortable. I mean, you're writing it, directing it, and starring it as well. I can't believe you had taken his lunch.
We were doing a couple times, but we figured out a little secret lunch that I was organizing. So
So how hands-on are you? I mean, written, directing, starring, I mean, you are making sure his bed doesn't give him a backache as well, you know? I mean, this is, like, far and beyond most producer roles.
I my dad uh, was a hotel manager. So it's all about making people comfortable, making sure people feel good. And that's what I grew up with those values of, we got to make sure people feel comfortable. And then we make the show and that's all about making people feel uncomfortable. But the making of the show, comfort is as much as we can with the ability that we have on, we're a small production when it comes to just budgets and all that stuff. We're certainly not Game of Thrones or anything.
And tell me about the Lindsay Lohan thing, 'cause obviously there's a few cameos going on, but I did like the story that she almost made it. Almost.
Yeah, she almost made it. I mentioned it offhand. She's so sweet. I mean, we had just like a great conversation. She was really thoughtful. We were excited to have her. I'm very excited to have her moving forward. Um, to be honest, like I was a little bit shocked at the way that anecdote spread, because it really it made me feel bad for her because I was like, oh, this is, I wasn't trying to like, I wasn't saying anything in terms of trying to make her look bad. It's more like she's awesome. She's truly, I think, a comedic genius. Like, actually, like I think on screen, just she's done things on screen that you're like, wow, this person's really talented. And her interest in Islam in the Middle East, all those things combined, I think make her a really good fit for our show. Hopefully, so I keep saying season 3, inshallah, we get her on.
Excellent. She's brilliant. It's funny that like the power her name still has.
Yeah.
It really is. I quickly just wanted to ask you, I know people always ask you about representation and stuff like that, but on a kind of side angle of that, I wondered what you thought about all the voiceover work that's kind of being an animation work that people are changing at the moment, where
Mm,
when you have like a character of a certain race, you're actually going to have an actor of a certain race voicing them instead of having somebody white do it, which
mm.
when you think about it, when you say it out like that, it sounds ridiculous, but that's kind of how it has been.
Yeah, I think that it's whether that's right or wrong is hard to say, but it's more so a reflection of just how bad of a job Hollywood's been doing. It's the kind of thing where if your groundwork is so awful, you're gonna just do things that feel right, and it's hard to say what's right or what's wrong because I think Hollywood is very clear on really understanding, looking back, like, oh, we haven't been on the right side of things. Hollywood has operated like Wall Street or like any corporation that has issues, it's not any better than a lot of those things while always claiming that it is. And so it's really I think the people that I know in Hollywood, the people who I've gotten to work with, they're trying to do the right thing. And I am very, recognizing that they have their journey to figuring out what the right thing to do is. But Hollywood's really behind, and so they're going to do a lot of things that, again, it's hard to say what's right and what's wrong. I think the point is getting more voices, not just animated voices, but more voices of color in creative and leadership roles. throughout, widespread. And so if you want to replace some voices on The Simpsons, that's cool. But also, are there black executives at Fox? Making sure that there isn't just one. That there are other people in different leadership positions, especially in development, is very important to make sure that there are development execs of color, because that's when you're making a show, you want to be able to talk. As an artist, I'm working with people who are developing my show with me, and they give notes, and those notes, not that they necessarily have to be taken, but they're part of the creative process. And so you want to make sure that there's representation there. And I haven't seen as many articles about that.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. Um, so what is it like when you go for those kind of meetings at those places?
I've had a lot of good experiences. I've been able to make what I need to make, but a lot of it is reflective of the times. It's social change, again, has pushed Hollywood into doing the right thing, not the other way around. Hollywood is not as representative of being a beacon of social change as it would like to claim to be. When I tried to talk about an idea of a show that was about a Muslim family, uh, in 2013, 2014, a lot of people felt, well, can they be neighbors to a white family? Or like maybe they move in, or maybe it's a Muslim best friend. And then you have the person who is our current president running, and he says, we need to ban Muslims. And then suddenly Hollywood's like, oh, actually, wait, is there a problem that we need to talk about? And it's like, well, yeah, we've been talking about this for 15 years. So um, I've been very fortunate that a lot of my creative process, I've been able to see the reflection of those changes, and I've been able to really tell the story that I want to say. So on a personal level, again, yeah, it's been really cool, but there's a lot to fight for, and there's a lot to keep going.
And how much kind of difference has the Golden Globe made, apart from bragging rights?
It was like our show came out again. Our show had been out for 7 months, but it really came out that night, and people all over the world heard about it for the first time. And so for a show of our size, it's really hard to put a price on something like the Golden Globe when we're a show that, especially with season one, I mean, it changed with Mahershala on season two, but we have no star power. We have no celebrities. We don't have big names that people know. We have a lot of people doing really great work, but not, yeah, we're not, it's just, who's Rami, it's like, no one knows me. uh and so it's exciting that you get recognized on that level, and I think it's exciting on an industry level. I hope it makes networks feel like they can take a shot on a show that isn't celebrity driven, and put resources into it, and that people will see it, even though it's super specific, even though there's not the usual things that surround a lot of shows that get picked up. That's exciting.
Nearly run out of time, but I quickly wanted to ask you about social media. How do you decide when you want to put stuff up there? Because obviously,